The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
It's a post-draft edition of Talking Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, in the SWBC studios. Welcome in, everybody. We have Patrik "No C" Walker. We have Isaiah Stanback. We've got Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. Glad you're with us. Oh, my goodness. We have a lot to talk about after the last weekend.
A lot's happened.
A lot has happened, including Isaiah Stanback got his guy.
You did get your guy.
You got your guy.
I mean,
How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
you know,
You said you wanted to beef up the offensive line, and that's what you got.
Listen, we have a whole show to talk about football.
What's up, Vach?
What's up, man? We have a whole show to talk about football. But listen, we cannot bypass.
My guy Vach Lombardi in
He's
the
about to
building.
pop in.
You gonna come in here?
Yeah,
We're not going to pay
blaze
you
it.
any extra. I want to. There's no extra paycheck. What's up, Vach? You good, man?
What's up, brother?
God.
What's up,
Looking nice.
man?
I thought you had a meeting today, and I didn't know you were conducting.
Gold on the wrist and gold on the neck.
Man, Kyle, let me just say this.
Oh,
I'm on way hopping.
Popping in on
Yeah.
Talking Cowboys.
I'm actually waiting on somebody. I got 5
Yeah.
minutes. Listen, man.
The do-rag is official.
Hey, man, appreciate you, man.
No
Appreciate
problem.
Oh, that's his vibe. That's his vibe.
Listen, man. I had a plan, Kyle.
You did.
I had a plan for how I was going to dress this thing up. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, this is my first time on big TV.
Oh, yeah?
I just can't have information and I have a dress plan. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we get to day 2 and day 3, and they say, all right, Vach, you got to wear the
Polo.
Youmans.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
well, what if I take the Youmans but mix it up with the sponsor money? This money way bigger than what we pay you. Vach. Put the damn polo on. Sit down somewhere. I was like, all right, bet. Cool, whatever you want to do. So I got one last day on the draft show.
Yeah.
I'm getting my damn fit off.
You're going to dress
Yeah,
up.
with my
With the
NFL.
kerchief. He got the kerchief.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, look.
Uh-oh.
He's in the
Yeah, he's
camera.
right
Here's
here.
Derek.
Derek Eagles. What are you doing?
I am making
Come
this
on in here, D.
I'm making this company a
hold on.
lot of money, by
Hold
the
on.
way.
This is perfect. No, stay here. Stay here. This is perfect because we got some stuff to talk about. Come on in
Boss
here,
man.
D.
Come on, boss man.
What's up,
Derek?
Hey, listen. Oh, hold on, D. Hold on, D. Hold on. I know you got business.
podcast,
We got business to go out to take care of because I know we're about to talk a lot about the draft.
Yeah.
Right. But before we talk about the draft, we need to hear from Kyle.
Yeah.
About how he did at the home run derby because he's been talking about it.
Yeah.
What's what?
Well, first off, we raised $4,100 for March of
That's awesome.
As an event, it was $120 plus $1,000 for the Salvation Army and local charities. So it was awesome. But for the third straight time that I've competed, I've made it to the final 2, and then I've lost.
Man.
Third straight time. I'm the '90s Buffalo.
Sounds like. But you know what? We celebrate our brothers around here.
Facts.
You know what? Can we go to the Beamer? Can you come in here for a second?
Oh, no.
Let's go to White Shot real quick.
What we doing?
No, I mean, this is perfect that you guys are here. I mean, this is a family affair. So we do not let things go unaddressed. So
this was planned.
This is for our brother right here, Mr. KY.
Respect. What we got?
Go ahead, KY. Open that up, man.
Come on with it.
This is we would never let you go.
Yeah.
We would never let you
His
go.
name's Kyle. His name's
What is it?
Kyle.
They call him KY.
His name's Kyle.
Listen.
I'm not gonna say the whole nickname on here.
I call him bro sometimes.
The plate says Reliant Media Home Run Derby 3-time runner-up Kyle Youmans.
Oh, God.
Oh man!
Hold on.
So funny.
Look at it.
be me.
And it's a bobblehead. You see that?
Man.
Oh, the head's true to size.
It is true to size. It looks good.
Kyle, I wouldn't dare let them talk to me like that.
Man, this is.
Y'all.
I am my brother's.
How we rock with talking.
I am my brother's keeper.
This
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This how
We're
we
not gonna
get
let him
down.
go, without being acknowledged.
This how
Crown
we get down on
trophy,
talk.
Kyle,
everything.
Kyle, you need to play and get back right now.
Yeah. We're already. We're getting there. We'll see you here in a minute, bud. Good seeing you, Derek.
I refuse
Wow.
to talk about all these.
Vach got the kerchief. That's
Oh, yeah,
all
he's
I
ready.
needed to see.
But listen.
That's all I needed to see.
I refuse to come on this show today and talk about the achievements
Dude,
of all
this
these young
is so
men,
funny.
right? Without acknowledging our very own Mr. Kyle Youmans.
3-time runner.
3-time runner-up.
That's it. 3-time runner. This is great. I love this. Man,
That's from your crew. You know what I'm saying? We
This
love
is
you, man.
motivation is
We love
what
you,
it
man.
is.
That's all that is.
The breakthrough is coming, man.
If I
trust the process.
I was gonna
Trust
give
the
up my
process.
spot next year for Pat, but we're gonna have to get Pat another spot. We're gonna have to find a way to get him in.
I don't know why they're playing it like that.
I
Let us
tried to
both
get in this year.
Let us both in.
I tried to slide in.
both in.
I tried to get in
No,
this
they
year.
just try to minimize the number, man.
Yeah,
let us
they
both
try.
in.
They don't want to let too many talking cats on the same
They know.
platform.
Well, they don't want to lose that much money.
Yeah,
they don't
there
wanna
it
have to
is.
donate
They know
that
it'll be
money.
1-2 and whatever.
They're
variant.
definitely going to max out if I get out there. I'll
That's
tell you that
awesome.
right now.
Thanks, guys. This is hilarious. Well done. I'll take a picture. I'll put it on there.
There we go.
What
Put
a
it on
fun way to
social.
start the show.
Yeah,
we got the
crazy.
bobblehead for KY. We
I got Foch in
Gold
there.
chain, Eric,
Man.
Beam coming in on the back. Yeah,
It's a good start, man. Now we can talk about these young bucks.
Now
Yeah, they got your guy,
They got a guy. I didn't necessarily have a guy, but I had a positional need.
And they
right?
got it.
And they got it, right? I know there's a lot of talk and there's a lot of pushback on Mr. Isaiah about what I felt was most needed for this team going into the draft with the number 12 overall pick if they were to stay there. And most people wanted Ted. Most people wanted a receiver. We talked about it last week. And I was firm and steadfast on saying that we need a big fella in the middle to replace Mr. Zach Martin, being there and be a mauler, somebody who can hold down the fort so you can plug and play. So it does not matter who you put in the backfield. It does not matter it doesn't matter who you put in the backfield, and you need somebody to protect Dak. Dak's coming off a hamstring, literal tear, right off the butt cheek. Okay, so you need somebody to ensure that he's not.
That's the official term.
That's exactly
for that.
the official term. You look it up. It's on. Yeah, it's on Wikipedia. Listen, he tore his butt cheek off, okay? So he needs somebody to ensure that he's not running around excessively, right? So you have somebody to protect Dak, and you have somebody to open up the holes now. So you literally have the Great Wall of Dallas out here moving things off the line of scrimmage, and I don't foresee anybody having an issue with that. Now, I know where we're going to go with this conversation, and I know we have a lot to talk about. Everybody's going to say, we didn't take a receiver.
Yep.
Who's everybody? It's
a big conversation.
Most people. I mean, there were some
talking.
undrafted free agents that we were able to go attain. I'm sure we'll talk about them as well. But most people are concerned, and rightfully so. I
was about to say,
that you don't have a sure number 2 receiver right now on the roster.
Yeah.
And that brings me back to what I was saying about dying on my hill.
Okay, come on with it.
I think that there's a big play coming sooner than later.
I agree.
Maybe.
And that leads me to this point.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so first and foremost, hi. I'm the guy that wanted the wide receiver.
Hello.
Hi, that's me.
Hello, guy.
That's me. Okay.
Me.
That being said, who was my wide receiver? It was Ted McMillan.
Absolutely. Gone to number 8.
Gone. Right. So then initially I wanted it to be, if it was going to be Golden, I was like, I wanted to trade back. We had that conversation here on Talking Cowboys, and it was like, maybe if they don't trade back, it could happen at 12. And I said, if it happens at 12 for Golden, I'm fine with it, but that's not ideal.
And if you get a
Ideally,
Golden
I
and
wanna
you have a
trade back.
Turpin, it's kind of the same.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
That being said, the Cowboys could not find a dance partner to trade back. They did attempt on multiple occasions to trade back out of 12, but basically they were being lowballed, for lack of a better way to put it.
sure.
So they held tight at 12, and then they said, hey, we're going to go ahead and do what Isaiah Stanback wants us to do. We're going to attack these trenches. And they added Tyler Booker. I'm completely fine with that. Is that what I wanted? No, what I wanted got taken away from me by the Carolina Panthers. Okay? So now what we got instead is, like you said, a mauler at right guard and Tyler
And a leader.
and a leader, 100%. If you've watched this young man's press conference, now this is not hyperbole. I've watched a bunch of press conferences,
Well
to
spoken.
say the least. I've watched a lot of rookie press conferences, to say the least. I've met a lot of rookies at the airport as they're coming in from the draft, et cetera, et cetera. Some have been very well spoken. I've not seen one like this.
Yeah, he's different.
You talk about just the leadership, the IQ, both football and academic, but also the maturity, the wisdom in which he spoke and he addressed the public and he showed the love to his family and the messaging that he gave to his younger brother and things like that. Yeah. That's the type of culture Brian Schottenheimer is trying to instill in this locker room. So when you talk about leadership and you're talking about on-field ability, is he perfect? No, he's not perfect. He's a rookie. He's not going to be perfect. But will he come in day one and make an impact as a starter? I wholeheartedly believe he will.
I want to throw something to the 2 historians of the group. Okay, you guys are historians. You guys know I go with the present and stuff. I lean on you guys for your expertise there. I'm not one to necessarily try to mimic what has been done in the past, but I am one that needs to acknowledge what has been done in the past, because otherwise, you might fall into some of the same uh-ohs if you don't acknowledge what's taking place in the past. So the last time the Dallas Cowboys had 3 first-round offensive linemen
in a 4-year period,
on out of their 5 offensive starters, what was going on? Who was there?
Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin.
Oh, it's
3 pretty good ones.
3 pretty good. No,
Now that's
crazy because most people are going to say, well, you have Tyler Smith who's balling out as an all-pro, right? You bring in Tyler Booker now, right? We got the 3 T's, right? You got Tyler Booker,
Tyler Guyton.
and Tyler Guyton. Everybody's going to say, well, Tyler Guyton, even though he's a first-round pick, he hasn't shown up. You're right, but isn't that why you bring in the best offensive line coach in college? Isn't that why you bring in the best offensive line coach in the NFL? And if I remember correctly, I was on this show, I believe it was Talking Cowboys, where I said there is no scenario where you bring in the 2 best offensive line coaches from college and the NFL on the same team and you don't give them some toy to play with, right? I also said that you're not going to bring in the best defensive line coach, right? And it was Cotton.
Aaron White Cotton.
White Cotton. Sorry, I'm still learning on the names. White Cotton. You don't bring him in and not give him something as a fresh new toy.
Indeed.
So were those not the first 2 picks of the draft?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they were both high on their board. That's the thing the biggest conversation, I think, what I've seen that frustrates me, I get the wide receiver conversation because I wanted Teteroa McMillan as well.
He was going.
I liked Matthew Golden up there in that spot.
I told you he wasn't going to be there.
He wasn't there. I
told you he wasn't.
That's plain and simple. I commend them, and we've talked about this a little bit on the draft show. I commend them for sticking to their board.
Yeah.
Because they 100% stuck to their board.
Correct.
Was offensive line their number 1 need? No. We sat here and talked about that. Was edge rusher their number 1 need? No. We talked about it. But could they both have been bolstered?
Yes.
Could they both help your football team with the right personnel? Yes. I love the Donovan Azaraku pick. Might be my favorite pick in the whole draft. I like Savone Ravel. I like that one as well.
Pick in the whole draft.
All of those things are great. That one's more of a need,
We'll see.
need and a value.
You will see.
No, when healthy is awesome.
You will.
He's
see.
only been hurt once.
I get it. I'm a guy who came in hurt too, so I respect.
Right.
I respect it. So I'm looking forward to it.
But kind of going back to it, the thought process that frustrates me is, Booker was a reach. Booker was a reach. It wasn't to them, and that's the plain and simple. If you're looking at consensus draft boards, I get it. That's media personnel, and those are people that are doing their homework just as much as everybody else. So I'm not going to discount their homework. But at the end of the day, what it is their opinion. And the only opinion at the end of the day that matters is the one that's consensus in the room. And in the room, they had a first-round grade on. This wasn't one of those drafts where it's like, we got the best guy on our board, and he was a first-round grade, though we're picking at 27, and it's not actually a first-round grade. It's actually a high second.
Correct.
This was a first-round grade on their board. They had equal grades to Teteroa McMillan and Tyler Booker. They went equal grades on both of those guys. We know that post fact.
He was.
They loved Tyler Booker.
Also,
Tyler
I
Booker.
was also told they didn't have a first round grade on Golden, but that's another conversation.
That's different.
But Tyler Booker was touted as the best player in his position in this draft. Correct.
Correct.
Okay. So
Was he?
By many.
Let me pull out
By
this
many. Not a consensus.
draft
It's
magazine.
not consensus. Ooh, yeah, the draft.
This is a
don't mess
draft
that up.
magazine.
Oh,
Let's see what did
that's
Kyle,
interesting.
what did Kyle Youmans
weird.
say?
wow, guards and centers.
Yeah, what did Kyle
Tyler
Youmans
Booker.
say?
Yeah,
What-
number 1, Tyler
Yeah.
Booker.
Oh, there you go.
Wow, that's interesting. If you guys would have read up, you guys would have understood that Kyle was on point. So if you have a
I
guy,
did mock Teteroa McMillan. I had the
Yeah.
optimism that he would fall.
if you have a gap that was a void, I should say, not even a gap, a void that has been left by a Hall of Famer, soon to be Hall of Famer, and you have an opportunity to grab somebody who is the best at their position in that particular draft and plug them into that void,
at 12 too.
how is that a reach?
It's not.
It's not. So
But also,
Is there something I'm missing?
But also,
Nothing.
keep it in mind.
the consensus draft boards
Right.
that had him at 31 or 32.
But also, keeping in mind, it's exactly what Kyle said. They didn't pick him for pure need. They picked him because at 12, based on
best
how the
player.
board fell, he was the one that was sitting atop their board.
Yeah.
So it
And
just
they did the same thing with Donovan Azaraku in the second round.
It just
they did
so
the same thing with
happens-
Savone Ravel in the third round.
it just so happens to fill a big need.
Where did Micah? What pick was he?
12
12. It worked.
worked out.
It worked.
Now,
Just wondering.
there are still concerns. This doesn't fix everything.
Nothing does.
Still need a wide receiver.
Yes.
I'm not totally sold on the running back conversation. We'll get to that in the third segment. There's a lot of moving and shaking that still needs to be done. I'm not.
We'll talk about
it. But I cannot tell you how much of a fit it is to have Tyler Booker. And you talked to it a little bit there. After the press conference, and I had known kind of the guy that Tyler Booker was just from interacting with him throughout the draft process once or twice. But the way he commands a room and the way that he walks in and it changes the whole outlook of who you are, this guy's going to be a fan favorite very quickly. Everybody loves Tyler Smith, right? Everybody hated the pick initially, but they love Tyler Smith for the most part. And Tyler Smith was incredible on his first visit after the draft and it came over. It was to another level. Nothing against Tyler Smith. I love Tyler Smith. Tyler Booker just took it to another level. It's nothing I've ever seen before.
So you can look at this however you want to, but Terrence Steele is now your smallest offensive lineman.
And he's not small. And he's not small.
Well, I mean, BB. You're talking about
BB's 335.
Yeah.
Other than BB?
BB's 335.
Smaller, though.
He's 6'4". I understand what you're saying. He was 5'11". He's 6'4", 335.
Yeah.
Sure.
Terrence Steele is 310.
But here's also what I want, to your point. Here's also what I want everyone to understand. And again, I'm saying this from the platform of I wanted a wide receiver at number 12, but my wide receiver was picked. So then it was whatever
Don't
it's going to
stretch
be.
it.
I'm also the guy then I want a wide receiver drafted at some point in the draft. It didn't happen. That's my one of only two demerits.
I wonder why.
We'll get to that. But that being said, when you look at what you're up against in the NFC East, the defensive tackles in the NFC East, one name that we continually bring up because we're football analysts who know what the hell we're talking about, but then you heard Tyler Booker drop the name in the press conference. He was asked,
called him out
straight up, which player in the NFL are you most looking forward to going against? I love Jalen Carter.
What do you call him?
Jalen Carter.
What do you call
him? He's
him?
A game wrecker.
What do you say, though?
Yeah, listen, Tyler Booker wants the smoke. And you have to love that and need that. But then look at his ability next to BB, next to Tyler Smith. And then you get to look at the Washington Commanders of the league and the Philadelphia Eagles of the league. And even with the New York Giants, and didn't they get that Penn State guy? All right. So even though he's rushing off the edge, he might see some schematics and, 1-0 if they move around.
That's not for Booker.
If he moves around like we're moving Michael around, he'll see some
come in there.
1, 3,
come in the middle.
I loved it.
Yeah.
See how your eyes got
come
big?
in the middle.
Now you feel like it. Now you feel
Get
like
in the middle.
That's what Tyler Booker does.
Yeah.
Tyler Booker makes you, when you look at that trio of interior offensive
1,000 pounds in the
Cowboys,
middle.
it makes you look at everybody else's defensive interior and say, come on.
It's 1,000 pounds across your middle three.
Come on.
1,000 of them.
I loved looking at the face of the reaction of Brian Schottenheimer and Stephen Jones whenever he said
Called him out?
Because Schottenheimer was like, oh, yeah, this is perfect.
Steve was
This
like,
is
"Oh."
dog. And then Steven's over there like, oh, dang it. Like,
Oh, yeah. Now you got to stand on it.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now you're in it. But you're standing in it.
The whole press conference felt like the whole interaction felt like, see, it looked like the three front office members that were up there, Stephen, Jerry, and Brian, were saying, see, like this is why we love the guy. This is why he was our pick, and he was the pick at pick number 12.
I like it.
The Cowboys did make some other selections throughout the weekend that we really do like. We're going to break it down. Day 2 is next. When we come back, we're talking about Donovan Ezeraku and Savone Ravel Jr., the second and third round picks. More of Talking Cowboys draft recap right after this. If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this segment of the show is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Welcome back in, everybody. Looking for our YouTube comment of the day. I'm scrolling through. We got a lot of good ones today. My guy Jeff says, "Is the sun's out? Because I has the guns out," but nobody's got the sleeve. You don't have Isaiah's sleeveless thing. He's got actual.
Can't get all this in the frame. This frame's too narrow.
It's unfortunate. But yeah, we'll get him here in a minute.
Oh, Beamer zooms out. Oh, these old things.
You can fit it in now.
I don't really know if somebody came up behind me. Just right over yonder.
Over yonder.
Oh man! All right, let's get into round number 2.
Let's.
Donovan Ezeraku, edge rusher from Boston College. Top guy on their board, another guy who they had a second-round grade on and took him in the second. It was a fitting pick. Pat, I'll start with you. Where does he fit into the Cowboys scheme overall?
Well, first of all, easily.
Just a playmaker.
First of all, easily.
Yeah.
This
16
guy coming
and a
off
half
16
sacks?
and a half. How many?
16 and a half? Not just 16.
You feel it.
I would like to
feel it
see
in your
16 and
bones.
3/4, honestly.
You just feel it in your bones.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
He had 20 and a half tackles for loss, though, and he won the nation's best edge rusher award.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
Oh, yeah.
He also had 8 fumbles in his 8 forced fumbles in his career.
Yeah,
there at Boston.
Jaden
College.
We're not talking about that part.
Yeah, we'll get to Jaden in a second. But Ez, I'm just going to call him Ez because it just feels better to call him Ez. I feel like I know him already because he's going to come in and fit in extremely well, quite easily. You're talking about a defensive line that lost DeMarcus Lawrence to free agency. Sam Williams, which by the way, as far as a news and note is considered, Sam Williams is expected to be ready for training camp, expected to be ready for OTAs in a couple weeks, but he'll be limited in OTAs. But that's fantastic news. That being said, anytime you're coming off a torn ACL, what do we talk about? Give a guy some grace to get back to his groove. Okay, but you're looking about Sam Williams, you're talking about Ez, you're talking about Micah, Marshawn Nealon in his second season. I expect a leap there, and then of course you reunite with Dante Fowler, who's coming off of a career sack season with the Washington Commanders. All of these rushing off of the edge, and we haven't even seen yet what Peyton Turner can do. So assuming that Peyton Turner has to fight for his spot, because he most certainly will have to fight for his spot.
Just got to fit into the frame.
Peyton Turner will have to fight for his spot, but if Peyton Turner can give you anything at all, in addition to a defensive edge rotation that now includes Ezeraku and what he can do both as an edge rusher, I'm not going to say both, there's 3 ways: edge rusher, takeaway machine as far as forcing possible takeaways, but he's also a very good run defender. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but what is it that the Cowboys have struggled against? Defending the run, right? Okay, so Marshawn Nealon, we know that was his claim to fame, right? Coming into the league last year. He gets some pass rush moves under him, he's going to be a problem. Ez, he comes in with the pass rush moves and the ability to defend the run and the ability to punch the ball free at all times. And if you go back and look at his film, his motor is relentless. Even when a running back or a ball carrier gets past him, he hunts them down. I called him a couple of times just playfully online, Craven the Hunter. You think because you got past him that you're safe.
No, he's on top of a building.
You're not safe. So you love that kind of drive, motor, work ethic, ability, and his bend and twitch. And I said this in my scouting report on the .com. Make sure you check that out. It reminds me of peak Randy Gregory and David Irving. When he flashes, you see that kind of ability. If you can get that type of consistency that puts him beyond the Randy Gregory and David Irvings, oh, buddy.
I really like this pick.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And I normally wouldn't go for that, especially when you have a Micah, but I don't want to say you have two Micahs, but you have somebody else who you have to respect. And if you choose to put, somebody like Ezraku on an island, like good luck, because most defensive ends that are coming out in 2025, right, in this era of football, most of these guys have one, maybe two moves, right? Usually it's a up the field, right, trying to get around the guy type of deal, or they, bury their head in the guy's chest and try to bull rush him depending on their size to stature. As you watch Ezraku, his ability to use inside moves is something that stands out tremendously to me. He goes inside a lot. And the reason why that's important is because not only does that discourage inside runs, but also on the pass rushing side, when he does utilize his speed to go upfield and outside shoulder of the tackle, whichever side he chooses to be on, that tackle has a tendency to do what? Overset, try to beat him to that point, right? And when a tackle tries to beat a defensive end to the point of contact, tends to be like a little Red Sea that opens up on the inside shoulder, right? And he utilizes that, and a lot of young players don't. A lot of young players just try to continue to press the outside shoulder and run up the field, and they end up running the hula hoop and missing the quarterback. He goes inside, and even when he does go inside and he gets a quarterback in a situation where they're like, uh-oh, I need to try to make a move, his ability to change directions as a former passing/running quarterback, okay, as a quarterback who used to like to use his twinkle toes and get outside the pocket, I was not afraid of the guys who just ran upfield. I wasn't afraid of the fast guys, the long guys that just took the shoulder upfield. I wasn't afraid of the guys that came inside. I came inside the tackles. I was afraid of the guy who was able to change directions because you can't shake them, right? You can't get them off balance. And his ability to change directions as you try to shake him, if you're an athletic quarterback, he stays with you. And that's, to me, is super dangerous, especially when you have a Micah on the opposite side and a Dante Fowler on the opposite side.
When I was looking at the scouting notes that I had for him and looked at it, it was all about ceiling. And his ceiling is still very high, and here's why. He has the size and speed combo. You look at his athleticism. I mean, his size, he's a little bit shorter. He's 6'2", but he has the weight of 250 plus on that side as well. But what he does have is length. He's got an 80 percentile wingspan. He's got a 70 percentile arm length. His 40 was a 91 percentile, 86 in the shuttle, 76 in the vert, 72 in the broad. 3-cone was a 90 percentile. Bench was a little bit shorter. The one thing I want him to work on is the strength. But what is one thing that you can add in the NFL?
Oh, absolutely.
It is strength. You can add that to exactly. He's got an NFL weight room. He's got an NFL caliber strength and conditioning staff. He comes in with the necessary size, and he comes in with the necessary speed and agility. All you got, and the technique, the pass rushing moves are just technical.
Yes,
I mean, he is phenomenal. The way he uses his hands, the way he's able to work outside, inside, like you were talking about on the shoulder of these defensive or offensive tackles. It makes it easy on a coach for him to come in day one and say, "Hey, you're ready to pass rush now. Let's build up that strength."
Yes.
I don't see why he couldn't be a multi-year starter in this defense and legitimately contend to be in the Pro Bowl. And to be a possible
he was
game.
a first-round grade on a lot of boards.
Go back to the shuttle and 3-cone. What was his percentile?
Percentile shuttle was 86%. And you said shuttle
and 3-cone.
3-cone, 90%.
Yeah, so those are the numbers that matter.
Especially in when you're talking about edge rushers, that's bend.
Exactly.
That's straight up bend, and he's got a lot of it.
Yeah, so for those that don't know what the 3-cone is, you're running 5 yards, you're going up, you're turning aside, you're getting outside the cone, you're bending the block again and coming back downhill. Like his ability to change direction suddenly, he's at the top of that, right? His ability to get in and out of cuts, that's what the shuttle shows, right? He's at the top of that as well. else. When you start talking about somebody who possesses those abilities and they're not an offensive player, they actually have their hand in the ground or they're in a bicycle stance as a defensive end, that's scary because now those guys can not only run straight, which he's at the top of that as well, but he can change direction. So there is no safe place to get away, right? So to your point, the one area that in terms of attributes, right, that we put on paper that he needs to address is getting stronger. And that's the easiest area to address as 100%. A coach.
Hey, you want to keep it all. You want to keep the speed. You want to keep the agility. You want to keep the bendiness. You want to keep the technique. You just got to add strength. But if there's anybody that knows how to do that, it's an NFL. And this is across the board. This is not just special to the Cowboys. They've got a great strength and conditioning staff. Don't get me wrong. But once you get to the NFL, you can take that to the next level.
But your ability,
it's different than doing it at Boston College.
And I want to make this differentiation before you go take it here, Pat.
We need to go to
speed,
Ravel, by the way.
Okay. Speed and power, strength and power are two completely different things, right? So, yes, he can increase his strength, right? His overarching strength, right? Which is going to play into when he locks up with offensive tackles, right? And when I get inside their little window and I have to lock up with these guys, can I get them off me? Can I get their hands off me? Right. Can I shed the block? Can I punch or rip? Can I do those things? Power is my ability to use my speed, right? To, in addition to my strength, to knock these guys off balance,
to generate momentum.
That's what I'm talking about. So that is already there.
Yeah,
he has the power, but if he gets stronger, his power becomes stronger as well. So that's what you're talking about, Kyle, his ability to be able to fight, right? Those hand-to-hand combats when he does lock up. Now, the whole purpose is you hope he doesn't have to lock up that often, but sometimes as a defense end, you have to set the edge, and that's where your strength comes in.
Yeah.
You're saying we're going to break?
No, we're going to Ravel.
Oh,
I want you to talk about
go ahead.
Savon Ravel, 76th overall pick, third round. A guy that I would argue if he didn't tear his ACL in September,
would have been the highest rated cornerback.
Not named Travis Hunter, but he's. I mean,
good caveat.
Yeah, he would have been a top-notch draft prospect. Already was. I mean, after his All-American season in 2023 at East Carolina, I got to watch a lot of his games because he played in the American Athletic Conference. I got a sticker up.
You know a little bit about that.
Know a little bit about that. I've called a couple other games and stuff. But, man, he's a dude. He is an absolute dude. Fits the character, fits the mentality, fits the dog that you want to get from Brian Schottenheimer's coaching staff and what they were looking for, but the scouts loved this guy. They were all over it.
Listen, I could not have been more excited when this pick was made, and I get it. People are saying, "Well, he's injured," and okay. Well, let me first say
it was a third-round pick, guys.
Yeah,
hold on. But can I add to something real quick so you can go deeper into this point?
Let's go.
The Cowboys have a relatively good doctor, training staff, and doctors and surgeons and all that. If
there's a surgeon,
if you were ever going to have confidence,
do you know who? You know who did the surgery, right?
I was going to bring it up, but go ahead.
Oh, Dr. Dan Cooper.
That sounds really familiar. Does he wear a hat?
He does. He loves to wear his I love that.
He did the surgery.
He did the surgery, which means he has all of the information.
So he's looked in there.
Yeah.
He knows exactly.
He was the one. So they have, the Cowboys being they have more information than any other team in the league when it comes to Ravel and his prognosis.
And the severity of his injury.
The severity.
And what did he say? If yes or no, did he give you a clean bill of health to Savon Ravel after knowing all of this stuff?
Well, the expectation is that Ravel will likely start on the PUP list, but he will be in training camp and he will be on the field in training camp.
So that would be a yes?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Did you? Yeah. There you go. So as it goes, Ravel will be in training camp on the field in Oxnard before training camp concludes, right? That's something that Ravel said when he was giving his progress report immediately after the pick when we had him in a conference call. He said he's already doing a lot of things. He's running a straight line, but they've not cleared him to do cuts and breaks just yet. He said that's the next step, and once he gets settled into Dallas, that's going to be the next step. But again, PUP list to start, but he's going to be on the field barring a setback, which means he will be on the field day one, in my opinion, as a starter at a position of dire need when you talk about the Cowboys. Trayvon Diggs does not seem like he's going to be ready. Right, I heard what Stephen Jones said, and I get that. I think that's rose-colored glasses. You look at the timing of Trayvon Diggs' injury, the type of injury, and the prognosis on recovery. I think he misses the first chunk of the season. What does a chunk look like? Maybe the first 4 games.
Depends on his rehab.
Right.
The first time he had rehab, it took a little bit longer.
100%. So, assuming Trayvon Diggs is not on the field for the first quarter-ish of the season, Jordan Lewis, is he still in the building?
No.
No. Okay, so you just lost 2 top cornerbacks.
Bring that back up.
All right, so it's DeRon.
Kalen Carson's coming off an injury too.
So as it stands in your cornerback room, minus Ravel, it was DeRon Bland and the Blandettes. Okay, because Kalen Carson returning from not only a rookie season that was up and down, but also showed a season-ending shoulder surgery in that rookie season. What does he look like on his comeback? We don't know yet. Okay, Israel Mukuamu, love the retention of that, and he's going to help with depth, but he's on a 1-year deal. Doesn't really handle the future question. Okay, Ravel immediately comes in and he gives you that boundary corner opposite DeRon Bland. When you look at Ravel's film, and you mentioned it, you look at his size, what do we got? Just under 6'2". Okay, 194, not the biggest guy as far as mass is concerned, but when I tell you this dude is athletic.
I don't need a massive corner.
He's athletic.
Yeah.
He's rangy. He's physical, and he loves getting his hands on.
Size, speed, length.
Loves getting his hand on guys. Has the wingspan, 94th percentile in wingspan, 86th percentile in arm length. Yeah, he gets it. He gets it done.
You remember Dawson?
Dawson. Yeah. Yoga Flame. See, now you're going to have people calling that man Dawson. But no, I love everything that Ravel brings to the table. The only question mark is the obvious one. Yes. It's how soon will he get on the field, but there are no questions on if he will get on the field. There are no questions on if he will be able to reach prime form once he gets back. It was not that type of injury. Okay, it's just when. And as we have this conversation, the win is training camp with plenty of time. I don't know yet if they'll have him in preseason games, right? Because they know that he's a starter and he's coming off of that injury. So maybe bubble wrap him just a little bit because you can't afford to lose him.
Happened in September, yes.
Because also September, correct. Also going back to who's not going to be on the field, Josh Butler had the breakout game, but then that's a late season torn ACL. He might miss a chunk of the season.
How long is Marquise Bell out? And that's not corner. This is kind of a side comment. His was what, a dislocated?
His was
So he'll be
season.
Yeah, but you're talking about by the time training camp hits, that's 10 months of recovery.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I think Marquise Bell takes the field at some point.
I'm talking about Ravel.
Ravel will be on the field in Oxnard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could not love this pick more. And in the event that when you talk about future tense, because again, a guy like Israel Mukuamu doesn't necessarily solve that future tense issue as far as like nickel corner, whatever the case may be. With Ravel in the building, you have the option to feel comfortable knowing that if, in fact, Trayvon Diggs' rehab is a little bit more of a slow burn, if he ends up missing like half the season versus a quarter-ish of the season, I'm telling you, man, I fully believe that Ravel is going to fly out of the gates and he's going to impress a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you're going to see why, like Kyle and I agree, and many who have watched him and analyzed him at East Carolina do agree, if he's fully healthy, he's nowhere near the third round.
Yeah.
Nowhere near it.
The number one thing is through the first 3 picks, and we always kind of keep it real on this show. We're gonna continue to say it with our chest. I love the first 3 round picks. I really do. I think it's a great fit. I think the value was there for especially 2 and 3.
Oh, you're setting us up for
second day. Day 3, I don't know if I loved as much. And here's what we're going to talk about. And when we come back, I want to hit the day 3 picks. Who did we like? Who did we think may have been one way or the other? And it's day 3. It's the day of the scouts. So who could surprise us? We'll talk about it when we come back with more Talkin' Cowboys.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we're going to overtime.
Erica, how much have I spent on concessions?
For questions about their money, Dallas Cowboys fans can turn to Erica, the virtual financial assistant in the Bank of America mobile banking app. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/Erica by your side. Bank of America, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Erica responses may vary. Digital tools featured require downloading the mobile banking app and may only be available on select mobile devices. Erica is a mobile feature only available in the English language. Your chat may be recorded and monitored for quality assurance. Message and data rates and additional terms may apply. Bank of America, N.A., member FDIC.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys as we roll into the final segment here of our draft recap episode. Before we get into day 3, Pat, you wanted to talk about a rumor that's kind of been floating out there in the draft sphere.
Not even a rumor because it's confirmed. So during the draft itself, can't recall if it was day 1 or day 2 because if you know anything about what we are up against on the behind the scenes, multitasking. So, but nonetheless, it did come across my desk day 1 or day 2 that the Cowboys did have high interest in a possible reunion with Amari Cooper. Okay, so I kept that in mind throughout the remainder of the draft and seeing if they would draft a wide receiver or if they would not. I think they were still interested in drafting a wide receiver, but they were going how their board fell, like we talked about in the first segment. And if the board didn't fall where the wide receiver they were looking at was the guy that was remaining at the top of their board, they weren't going to pull the trigger. And so that's how it went. So the Cowboys didn't draft a wide receiver, which is one of my only demerits. I'll talk about the other demerit as we talk about day 3. But yes, it is true the Cowboys have interest in possibly reuniting with Amari Cooper. That being said, I would not anticipate them making a move, be it Amari or someone like Keenan Allen. I wouldn't anticipate that before May 2nd because if they sign before May 2nd, then it impacts negatively the Cowboys' compensatory pick formula. And there's just no reason between now and Friday or Saturday to sign him and mess with that formula. So if that move is to happen, I believe the earliest it would happen is going to be Friday. I believe Friday's the 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe even Thursday. Go have my calendar in front of you. This weekend. I wouldn't anticipate it. Friday. Wouldn't anticipate it before this weekend. But, yes, it is true the Cowboys have interest in a possible reunion, Amari Cooper, but he's not the only one they're doing homework on.
Yeah.
But it is something to keep an eye on. He's a front runner, I'll put it that way.
They are going to address wide receiver.
That much is true, and I said it on the .com.
They're going
Check
to
out my
something.
article regarding wide receivers on the .com yesterday. They are going to address it, and he's the marquee name right now.
There's a couple of them.
Something you want to say?
Nothing at all. I just know that they're not going to leave CD out to dry.
No.
I agree.
It's a tough hill
They
to
would
climb.
not let him be on that hill by himself.
You know what I liked?
Not gonna happen.
And this is something that you talk about growth and progression. We, and I say we because I'm included in this. We get on the Joneses a lot when it comes to liking their guys. It's become a phrase. It's a running joke within Cowboys Nation. The Cowboys like their guys. True. But when I sit there and I hear Stephen Jones say something like, well, because you have Jerry doing the Jerry thing. Mm-hmm. Jerry's like, well, we did use a 4th-round pick on Mingo, so technically we drafted Mingo. But then that's Jerry being Jerry. But then you pan over to Stephen, and Stephen starts calling out names. Mm-hmm. And Stephen says, yes, we have Jonathan Mingo. We can only hope that he reaches the 2nd-round grade that we put on him. We have Jalen Tolbert. We have Ryan Flanoy. We have Jalen Brooks. He's saying these names, and then immediately after he says the names, he says none of them have shown yet that they can be wide receiver 2, which is why we, the Cowboys,
gotta go do
Stephen Jones voice, are looking to do something.
Stephen always keeps it 100.
So
tries to.
What I'm saying is when you start to hear things like that from the director of player personnel, it goes to your point. They know, and they're willing to admit that they need help at wide receiver 2. I am of the belief 100% that they're going to address it. They tried to address it a couple times, more than a couple times, via trade before the draft, but those deals did not come through. We can't say the names because then it would be seen as tampering on this show. Yeah. But they tried. It didn't work. The draft, they were going to get Tet if he fell to 12. He didn't. They didn't end up getting a wide receiver thereafter, so now they're looking at Amari Cooper, possibly Keenan Allen, some of these other options, and trade is still on the table.
All right. So that's a possibility. Mm-hmm. How did they address some of the needs in day 3? Who was your favorite day 3 selection? I'll start with you, Isaiah, because we're running out of time here. We got to go. Pick your favorite. and go with it. You want me to run down the names real quick?
I'm looking at it here.
Here, I'll run them down just for those at home. So, of course, we talked about Tyler Booker in round 1, round 2, Donovan Ezraku, Savone Ravel Jr. Round 3. But then you get into day 3. They did not pick in the 4th. It was Jaden Blue, running back from Texas, in round 5, followed by Shamar James, linebacker from Florida, very quickly. Johnny Cornelius, round 6, the offensive lineman out of Oregon. Jay Toia, defensive tackle from UCLA in the 7th round. Phil Maffa, running back from Clemson, in the 7th round as well. And then the final pick was Tommy Akingbasote, defensive tackle from Maryland.
Yeah, I like the Shamar James out of Florida. That was the one that stuck out to me.
That's the one you liked?
Yeah, I like that one because I know we added some veterans at the second level, and obviously you're expecting Demo to come back, and you have some other guys that you've invested in, obviously through the draft over recent years. But I like his speed. And I like speed at the second level. And I think with what they're trying to do on the front defensive line by putting some big fellas in there, some kind of mountains that they have to move through the veteran portal, I guess you could say. I like the fact that you have some guys that can flow and run, right? That's what this game is turning into at the linebacker position. Guys are going to be 6'2", 6'3", 220, 225, and they can shoot the gaps, right? They can get to a place from point A to point B very quickly. And I think when you pair that up with guys who can hold the fort in the middle while, occasionally being able to get some vertical, being able to hit the seams and get vertical and get to the quarterback, as well as having defensive ends that can go hunt, and you have some linebackers that can free flow. Now you're looking at a really fast, aggressive defense, and you're really starting to get an identity as to what Eberflus is trying to do with this. He doesn't want a bunch of big lumps of coal that can't move. Yeah. He wants guys that can run and hit, and that's what it's looking like.
He's got a great first step. You can tell, he's got an acceleration like crazy. Long speed's not super great. I thought he was okay athletic profile wise. The big thing is that quick first step. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of times where he's wrong. Mm-hmm. And he's got to clean that up.
That's coaching.
Yeah, he's got to clean it up.
As it relates to James,
but what does Eberflus specialize in?
Linebacker.
Oh, okay, just one.
Yeah. As far as Shamar James go, I like that pick. I like that player a lot. So much so that in my one and only mock draft on the .com, I mocked Shamar James to the Cowboys.
They loved him.
My only demerit there is that the value equation doesn't work out for me because I mocked him in the 7th. Would have been comfortable with him in the 6th. 5th was a little bit of a stretch for me. And trading up for him in the 5th to do it. That tells me they really were craving some Shamar James.
And who was in charge of that? You think?
Oh, it was Flus.
Oh, yeah, got you. Your new defensive coordinator who specializes in linebackers, and he went up to go get a linebacker. So
they all loved him. The scouts loved him. Coaches loved him, but that was Flus.
Sounds like somebody was beating the table.
Clearly. So that was my only knock to that because love the player. Otherwise, I wouldn't have mocked him here. I just think that was a bit too rich for me. That being said, I think Jay Toia, although a flyer pick, keep an eye on that young man because
that's my favorite pick of the day.
Absolutely mine.
I like him a lot. I talked about him on the draft show. I think he's a big body that you don't have.
Yeah.
And he can move.
Right.
Lateral ability. He takes up multiple gaps. He's able to plug the interior. I think they've taken day 3 flyers on defensive tackles recently. One technique. Rogers, Ridgeway. I'm trying to think. There's a couple other. Bohanna. Like those other guys that have kind of been around. This guy is more athletic and more talented than all 3 of those guys. I think
he's also
has
wider.
A chance. He is definitely wider. He's a good, except for maybe Bohanna. Bohanna was massive. But he's not a trash can full of dirt. You hear that when you talk about the defensive tackle position?
He's not just
He can move. If he has a trash can full of dirt, he's one of those like janitor ones that are on wheels. And you can kind of go side by side.
That's what you did there.
I think he's a undervalued day 3 pick, and I think they got him in the right spot too.
Okay, and I agree. So I was going to say honorable mention, keep an eye on Toia. I'm going to do a combo pack.
No.
I am going to do a combo pack.
That's cheating.
No, it's not because it's the same position. Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa. I think you fuse them together on some Goku Vegeta. Fair. I think it's a fusion dance. I think if you get Blue without Maffa or you get Maffa without Blue, hey, you're learning.
Hey, wait. If you do it that way, we can do it in our little ready.
Other way.
I thought you were about to do
this.
No,
I'm on your box. See, look at your box.
Oh, like
there
that.
You go. Yeah, so you got it right there.
I think if you get Maffa without Blue or Blue without Maffa, I'm a little lower on both of those picks. But the fact that you're combining both, you have Blue, he's a home run hitter. What I need him to do is get the Tiki Barber treatment. I need Blue walking around this building with a football at all times.
Cannot fumble.
And everybody needs to swipe at that football. He needs to clean up the fumble.
Isaiah, get him the fumble.
Unequivocally. However, this is a dude that has run in the sub 4.3 40. Okay. This is a guy who is exceptionally quick. He's deceptive in space. He makes it difficult to tackle him. He's basically he's your Tony Pollard, right? He's what you want Tony Pollard to be.
Hey, he's a tiny bit bigger.
A little bit small. Oh, is he small?
I think he's bigger.
Okay.
Let me look. I can't.
Nonetheless, he's your home run hitter. Maffa, dirty, bully, A gaps, B gaps, taking on blocks and pass pro, short yardage, red zone. So Zeke Tony, peak Tony. This is what the Cowboys are hoping for with Maffa and Jayden Blue, that they can become that dynamic. So I can't.
He's a little smaller. You're right.
You're right. I can't pop them apart because I see them as a tandem.
But don't you see Javonte Williams as that guy?
I see Javonte Williams making this team. I do see him making this team because I don't feel like you need to have a small bit of redundancy there because injuries happen, right?
Who do you see as a starter?
That's a question.
Competition.
That's a question.
See, that's the thing.
But now, before the draft, the problem was there was no competition. And then when you added Javonte and you added Miles, there was some competition, but not enough that made me feel warm and fuzzy
I am
inside.
a fan of Javonte.
I am as well. I just said I believe
this dude.
I believe he
nice.
I believe he makes the team. But I also believe when you look at what Maffa brings versus what they don't have on the roster, I believe Maffa has an excellent chance of making the team because he's the bully. Who's the bully right now? Hunter Lipke would probably give you that if you gave him the ball, right? But Maffa has a good chance of making the team, and I think Jayden Blue has an exceptional chance, and here's why I say that. They were going to trade up for Jayden Blue. That's how much they wanted Jayden Blue, but he was still available when they went on the clock.
They like the speed.
He's going to make the team.
I don't disagree with that.
Right, so I believe both of those rookies make the team.
So what does Deuce Vaughn have to do?
That's a different conversation. Here's my thing. I like what you're saying. I like that you've got a home run hitter, and I like that you've got a versatile, bigger back, right? I like it one way or the other. I think one way or the other, you've got two guys that you can kind of mix and match. I'm not going to sit here and put my entire running back class and my entire running back room on the back of two third-day picks, two day 3 guys, and say that I feel good about the running game. I don't think they've addressed the running game.
Yeah, you guys are crazy.
I think Blue has a chance to grow into it.
Javonte.
But for 2025, I still don't feel good about it.
Javonte, have you guys not watched Javonte's film?
Why do you act like
he's 5'10", 220? He's a freaking bowling ball.
But why are you acting like I'm knocking Javonte? I'm telling you, he's making.
He's
the team.
nice.
He's making the team.
I'll knock him. I think he's a good running back. I think he'll make the team. But
he's your starter.
Are you thinking he's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher in this offense?
Nobody's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher in this offense.
Exactly, because they're not good enough.
But
they're not. They can't run the ball. Who are they?
I just think it's going to be by committee. If somebody doesn't get 1,000 yards, it's because they are truly going by committee. And I think that they're going to do this little freaking carousel of running backs, just keep everybody fresh. But Javonte Williams checks the boxes for me. Behind this offensive line,
as it
holy
stands,
crap.
As it stands, if Javonte is what I and you and I believe that he can be, I think Javonte, if they don't make any other moves, I think Javonte can be your RB1.
Yes.
Jayden Blue is your RB2. And then I could see Phil Maffa being 3 and then Hunter Lee.
I don't
That'd
know.
be your 4-pack.
Yeah,
so it's like a 3+1.
Yeah, 2, 3, and 4, I don't know. But 1 is Javonte Williams.
And then they'll, you figure the rest out as far as practice squad and stuff like that. So yeah, I have Javonte making the team, but I'm not going to sit here and say because I like Javonte that prior to me seeing Blue and Maffa walk into the building that I felt good. No, I sat here and said I still didn't feel good. So there you go.
There you go.
We got to go.
I know we got to go.
We got a lot longer this offseason to debate this, and then we'll debate it even going into Oxnard as well.
Kyle in the chat said he smells a bet. We'll get to that on the I smell a bet too.
It does kind of sound like a bet.
Just look for the sideline reports.
All right.
Camp.
Glad you've been with us throughout the
Training Camp Live coming at you.
Training Camp Live, baby. It's coming up. Before you know it, draft's now in the rearview mirror. For Patrik Walker, for Isaiah Stanback, for Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Youmans, 3-time runner-up of the Reliant Home Run Derby. Saying so long. We'll see you next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!